readers, welcome back. I'm super excited that you decided to come and read with me today. Today I want to give a special shout out to my first grade friends. If you're listening today, just please know that I love you, I love your hearts, and I'm really grateful to be your teacher. So I'm really glad that we get to spend this time together, even if it's not in person. I'm giving you a big hug through the camera. I miss you, I miss you, I miss you. We are going to read a story called The Paper Bag Princess. This princess story is not going to be like other princess stories that you heard before. So I want you to think about a story that you've heard before with a princess in it. Maybe it was the story of Cinderella. What about Beauty and the Beast? I want you to keep that story in your mind. And as we're reading, I want you to think about how are those stories that you know the same or different than our story about the paper bag princess. And why is she called a paper bag princess anyways? Let's read to find out. Elizabeth was a beautiful princess. She lived in a castle and had expensive princess clothes. She was going to marry a prince named Ronald. Unfortunately, a dragon smashed her castle, burned all her clothes with his fiery breath, and carried off Prince Ronald. Elizabeth decided to chase the dragon and get Ronald back. She looked everywhere for something to wear, but the only thing she could find that was not burnt was a paper bag. So she put on the paper bag and followed the dragon. He was easy to follow because he left a trail of burnt forests and horses' bones. Finally, Elizabeth came to a cave with a large door that had a huge knocker on it. She took hold of the knocker and banged on the door. The dragon stuck his nose out of the door and said, "Well, a princess. I love to eat princesses, but I have already eaten a whole castle today. I am a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow." He slammed the door so fast that Elizabeth almost got her nose caught. Elizabeth grabbed the knocker and banged on the door again. The dragon stuck his nose out of the door and said, "Go away. I love to eat princesses, but I have already eaten a whole castle today. I am a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow." "Wait," shouted Elizabeth. "Is it true that you are the smartest and fiercest dragon in the whole world?" "Yes," said the dragon. "Is it true," said Elizabeth, "that you can burn up 10 forests with your fiery breath?" "Oh, yes," said the dragon, and he took a huge, deep breath and breathed out so much fire that he burned up 50 forests. "Fantastic," said Elizabeth, and the dragon took another huge breath and breathed out so much fire that he burnt up 100 forests. "Magnificent," said Elizabeth, and the dragon took another huge breath. But this time, nothing came out. The dragon didn't even have enough fire left to cook a meatball. Elizabeth said, "Dragon, is it true that you can fly around the world in just 10 seconds?" "Why, yes," said the dragon, and jumped up and flew all the way around the world in just 10 seconds. He was very tired when he got back, but Elizabeth shouted, "Fantastic, do it again!" So the dragon jumped up and flew around the whole world in just 20 seconds. When he got back, he was too tired to talk, and he just lay down and went straight to sleep. He looks pretty tired, doesn't he? Elizabeth whispered very softly, "Hey, dragon." The dragon didn't move at all. She lifted up the dragon's ear and put her head right inside. She shouted as loud as she could, "Hey, dragon!" The dragon was so tired that he didn't even move. All right, readers, before we continue our story, I want you to make a prediction. Remember, a prediction is a guess. I want you to make a guess about what you think is going to happen next. Now, remember that we think the dragon's sleeping, but is the dragon really sleeping? Where is Elizabeth going to go right after this? She could go in and save the prince, but she could also run away and go get herself a fancy dress and get out of that paper bag. But what if the dragon wakes up? Tell somebody your prediction. Elizabeth walked right over to the dragon and opened the door to the cave. There was Prince Ronald. He looked at her and said, "Elizabeth, you are a mess. You smell like ashes, your hair is all tangled, and you are wearing a dirty old paper bag. Come back when you are dressed like a real princess." Was your prediction right? "Ronald," said Elizabeth, "your clothes are really pretty and your hair is very neat. You look like a real prince, but you are a bum." And they didn't get married after all. The end. Thanks for reading with me. This is one of my favorite stories. Now, I know I say that a lot, but this time I really mean it. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, we've talked a lot about author's message. Remember that author's message is when the author wants to teach us a message or a lesson. I think that there is a very important lesson to be learned throughout this story, and we're going to talk about it, okay? Now, at the beginning, we meet a prince and a princess who plan to marry. That means they love each other, right? They want to get married. But at the end, Prince Ronald changes his mind. He doesn't want to marry her anymore. And I want to read that page, and we're going to talk about why that is. He says to Princess Elizabeth, "Elizabeth, you are a mess. You smell like ashes, your hair is all tangled, and you are wearing a dirty old paper bag. Come back when you are dressed like a real princess." He doesn't want to marry her anymore or love her anymore because of the way that she looks. Now, I want you to think about someone that you love. It could be a parent, a friend, someone in your family. Think. Who do you love? And now I want you to think about, why do you love them? I first thought about my mom. I love my mom, and that's because she is kind. She gives me the best hugs, and she cares for me so much. The prince should not have loved the princess for the way that she looks, but he should love her because she is strong, she's brave, she's selfless. That means she didn't think about herself. She thought about Prince Ronald, right? That's who she is on the inside, not on the outside. This is such an important message because we should never love someone for what they look like on the outside, but who they are on the inside. Now, in light of this story, I want to give you a challenge. Are you ready? So that person that you thought about earlier, that you love, I want you to go tell them. We want to be like Princess Elizabeth in this story, right? Not like Prince Ronald. We want to love so well and so deeply, and that means loving for who people are on the inside, okay? See you next time.